Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let me say the meaning of this wonderful invocation mantra. Which says that fullness is above, that is others. Fullness is below, that is idam. From fullness, fullness has come. And still the fullness remains the same. That's what the beautiful everything is full, complete, absolute is there. No change in the absolute. And this what we see is the same absolute, just we perceive in a variety and changing form. So this is the beautiful highest truth of Vedanta that it speaks even in the invocation. And in Ishopanishad, as we were studying, the very first verse says the Ishavashamidam Sarvam, everything is Brahman. So that is the first thing in the beginning, it just told the climax of the Upanishadic teaching. Now today we are going to verse 5 now in this session. The verse 5 says, Tad ejati tannajati tad dure tadavantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya vayataha. So, like we studied this yesterday, and we said we studied that similar verse, that anejadekam manaso javiyo. Today the same idea is being explained more in the verse 6, which says, it moves and it moves not. Tat ejati, it moves. And tan ejati, it doesn't move. And tad dure tadvantike, very like contradictory. It moves and it doesn't move. That Brahman, that reality moves and it doesn't move, yet it doesn't move. Tad dure tadvantike, that is far away. And tadu antike, that is closest, that is near, far and near both. Tad antarasya, that is inside every being. And sarvasya, tadu sarvasya bahyataha, it is inside, outside every being. So it is inside, outside, it is far, it is near, it is moving, it is unmoving. So that is how the Brahman is described. Because it is everywhere, all pervasive. So how to describe that all pervasive? So you can find it very close. You can find it is imperceptible. So those who can perceive and have trained their mind and their attitude to perceive it, for them it is close. There is nothing but Brahman. For those who cannot perceive it, who cannot think of Brahman, that is for them it is far, very far. For some it is inside. It is inside and outside both. There is no place where Brahman is not. So that's why this example is given is Akasavad Brahma. Example that we perceive is Akasa that is given. Akasa is outside us and Akasa is inside us also. Any space is outside, space is outside. Like that Brahman is everywhere. That's why it becomes like that. They explain that why it is tadduret, it moves, it doesn't move. Because it is infinite, cannot move. But wherever you go, it is there, as if it has moved, and we find it everywhere. So it has, as if it has moved. That's why it moves, but it doesn't move. So that's the example given for this verse very nicely. And it is said that it is very close. The God, those people who have found God is so closest. When Swami Vivekananda came to Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, have you seen God? Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, I see Him. And he added, I see Him more intently than I see you, more intensely than I see you. So more closely, more clearly. That is what the perception of the reality is for those who have realized the truth. They see it more closely. That's why it is said, it is very close to us. Swami here gives the example from Muhammad also. Muhammad said that God is closer to us like a vein in the neck. So it is very close to us. In our classical example, Sankaracharya gives hasta malakabat, amalaka fruit, myrobalan they call in English, fruit in your hand. It is always with you. Just you, whenever you want, you can see it. It is with you. That kara malakabat, like they say. It is there with you. That is what the perception of God is. It is very close. Whenever you want, you can see. Or if you are aware, it is always with you. But for those who do not know, it is quite far. When one sees everything filled with God alone, does one see anything else? Someone said to Sri Ramakrishna, let me read. One day Hridaya asked Sri Ramakrishna, why he spoke only about God? The latter replied, because there is nothing else. On another occasion, Sri Ramakrishna said, when one sees everything filled with God alone, does one see anything else? It is all God perceptible. So that is what the Brahman, those who realize Brahman, they find it everywhere, far and near, moving and unmoving. It is all that thing. So it is being described in that way. So external and internal, this variation also goes away in Brahman. It is all there. Like one pitcher filled with water is put in a reservoir, water reservoir, ocean. Then where is water? Water is inside the pitcher. And water is also outside everywhere of the pitcher. So water is everywhere. That is what the condition of Brahman. There is nothing that there is no Brahman. And they say the example that when this pitcher is broken, then what happens to the water? The water remains same water. You have just put the pitcher in the ocean. Ocean water was filled in the pitcher, and that is kept in the ocean bed. Now that pitcher is broken. Then what happens to that water? That water remains as it is. It is not that it mixes with the ocean water. It was never separate. Only the pitcher wall made it as if it were separate. But it is all same. So it is inside the pitcher wall, outside the pitcher wall. In fact, it is everywhere. There is no place that Brahman is not there. That's why this theory came, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. It is called the fifth Mahavakya of the Vedanta. That after Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma and Ayam Atma Brahma, 4 Mahavakyas, that is quite common. The fifth Mahavakya is said to be Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Whatever we see here is nothing but Brahman. Brahman is all that is perceived. By ignorance, we don't see it that blissful, divine, that blissful entity called Brahman. And we see different variation, and we get, as Swamiji was explaining, we get into that thing called we call a thing called that avidya, asmita, then raga, dvesa comes. We divide the Brahman into something we like and something we dislike. Because of our ignorance, because of not seeing the truth, we divide the Brahman. But in reality, sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Here khalu means certainly. Certainly everything that we perceive is Brahman. That's why the verse wants to say that everything is God, nothing else exists. Just try to understand that. And this verse was just an explanation of previous verse number 4 that it said. Let's now go to verse number next verse 6. So here again, this Vedantic truth is explained very well. This wonderful explanation of Vedanta. What happens when we realize that we are all Brahman? What we perceive is Brahman, we ourselves are Brahman, everything is Brahman. What changes it makes in us? So is there any practical benefit from that? So it says, what happens after realization? They say, what happens? You have realized Brahman, then what happens? It says, yastu sarvani bhutani atman eva anupashyati. You have started seeing every being as your own self, as Brahman. Nothing else, no separation, no difference. Everyone is your own self. Then what happens? Sarva bhutesu chatmanam. And also all beings that you perceive outside, you think they are your own self. Yourself you are seeing in all, everyone you are seeing in yourself. So you have become one with the whole universe. The oneness has come. That experience of oneness with everything has been attained. Then what happens? What is the benefit? Tato na vijugupsate. Vijugupsa is hatred. So if you have that, then you eliminate all hatred. You don't hate anyone. If you don't hate anyone, then what you do? You naturally love. Love is natural. Hatred is ignorance, something preoccupied, something something learned by ignorance, by mistake. But love is our own nature. We are born to love because, as it is said, Satchidananda itself manifests Ananda is love and bliss. So that is our very nature. When we stop hating others, we stop difference others, we stop finding fault with others, then there is nothing but we just love everyone. So here the word comes, one word comes, anupashyati, evam anupashyati. Pashyati means sees, to see something, to perceive something. Anupashyati is to see deeply, to see deeply. That Sri Ramakrishna gives example of vijnana. He says that to know that there is fire in the wood is jnana. You perceive, you learn that there is fire in the wood. But to make that fire come out of the wood and make that fire and cook your food in that fire, eat that food and nourish yourself, that is vijnana. Utilize the knowledge of the divine that is everywhere and that make it practical in your life. The practicality of that reality is called vijnana. Seeing that God resides, God is reality which does everything, that is jnana, God is there. And when you see God everywhere and you treat everyone as God, divine, that becomes vijnana. So that is what is anupashyati, you see deeply. When you see the wood, you don't see wood only, you see fire in that. You see something that can be utilized. You see the light and knowledge there. It can bring something that will be very practical to your life. Similarly, those who perceive Atman in all, self in all, and everything in the self, for them it is all, there is no hatred, no finding defect in others, no judging in others. That is the practical utility of having Brahma Jnana. Brahma Jnana you have, you live in the bliss. Then after Brahma Jnana what happens? How the people who have realized God, they live in the world. Arjuna asks Sri Krishna, how this Sthita prajna they live? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasa samadhisthasya kesava sthitati kim prabhaseta kimasita brajeta kim. How those who are of steady mind, they live in the world, how they behave, how they walk, how they sit, everything. Is there any difference in the person who is God realized and ordinary person in their behavior? Sri Krishna says, yes, there is difference. Prajahati yadakam, there is internal difference. Prajahati yadakaman sarvan partha manogatan. They have no desire for any selfish enjoyment for desire left. They are free from desires. So when you are free from desires, you have freed yourself from all tormentation for hankering for enjoyment. Prajahati yadakaman sarvan, all the desires are ceased. They are all finished. Atmani eva, and they are very satisfied. Not that all desires finished in life. The table doesn't have desire. So is it very happy? We don't know. But then what will happen to a person who has no desire, selfish desire, desire for enjoyment? What will that person be, like a stone or table? No, he says, Atmani eva atmanatusta. That person is very satisfied. Not only satisfied, contented. That person is contented. Atmani eva atmanatusta sthita prajnasta dochyate. That is contented with himself. Nothing more is needed. As the Swamiji was describing about yoga kshemam. No, I want more yoga and I want to retain what I have kshema. That person doesn't need yoga kshema at all. So because he is contented or she is contented with whatever he has, very Atman that person has found means he found everything. Nothing more is to be added to that, and is contented in the self, by the self. Atmani eva atmana tusta. And what other thing that happens? Can we see it is contented, happy inside? Can we find that person's behavior outside that changes? Yes. He seems to be never sad. Dukkhesu anudvigna. Not that things of sadness come to him, but dukkhesu anudvigna manaha. Nothing can really perturb that person. No sorrow, no suffering, no shortcoming, no difficulty can really perturb that person. So, dukkhesu anudvigna manaha. And what about happiness? Is he very elated when he finds something of pleasant? So, no, sukhesu vigata spriya. He doesn't want the happy situation to repeat again and again. He is very contented with itself. That is the sign of a realized soul. Here also it says, the one who has found the self in all and all in the self has found unity with the whole existence, that person cannot hate anyone. So Swami here describes, Swami Sarvagatanandaji, that Swami Premeshananda, Holy Mother's disciple, was a very stalwart monk of our order. He says that to use the word vijigupsa or hatred for a realized soul is too much. How can a realized soul hate someone? There is nothing who has found a self in all and all in the self as someone who will ever hate. It's not hating, but he said it is about hiding. That person will not hide anything because he has realized he will be open to all. His life will be open to all. Nothing he will hide. Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath was told by Sri Ramakrishna, don't tie your cloth, don't put a screen on the window, like that he used to say. Don't hide anything. Your life should be open to all. Himself, his life was so open, Sri Ramakrishna's life. Always his door used to be open, anytime anybody could come. When AM came, that evening first meeting, after that he went to see the temple. When he came, it was all, everybody had left, he was alone. So she asked that Brinde, the maid servant, what the sadhu is doing, what this holy man is doing. So he said, he is in the room. So, can I go now? Will it disturb him? He said, no, it will not disturb. You can go easily inside. He is always welcome. He was contemplating on the Divine Mother. He was meditating. It was in the evening. But Sri Ramakrishna's life was not for himself. He was always ready to welcome all seekers of God. That was always open. His door used not to be closed for anyone. That was in the evening. The M came and he asked Brinde, does this sadhu, so great is his talk I heard, does he read a lot of books? He said, no, what are you saying? He doesn't read anything. He doesn't read and he speaks such words of wisdom. Oh, everything is in his mouth. All wisdom, words of wisdom, it just comes out of his mouth. Everything is there. He was very surprised that without reading a person can be wise. Yam was a headmaster, was a professor, was a learned person. He had double MA degrees and he never thought that one can be wise without reading books, studying books. So when he heard that, he was very surprised, and then he went inside and he had the first meeting with Sri Ramakrishna. He asked, where do you come from and all that. So his Sri Ramakrishna's room was always open. Don't hide, don't keep yourself away. Be always available to everyone. When Girish Ghosh, at midnight, he thought he should go to Sri Ramakrishna, all drunk. And he wants to go to this holy man whom many consider as God incarnate, as the holiest of the holy. And Girish goes there without any hesitation. He was that type of person. He goes there and Sri Ramakrishna found, and he invited him, and he found he was inebriated. He held his hand and started dancing. So he is in different mood. He has forgotten the world. So Girish Ghosh found the real love for the person whom world didn't care that much. He was a good actor, very talented person, but people didn't like him because of his not good character. But Sri Ramakrishna was here who not only saw, not only pashyati, he anupashyati. He could see the very inner self of this person. He could see the faith in that person. He could see the potential of that person. So, these great person are able to see potential, what they can become. So that is the thing is anupashyati, what is hidden in them. When Narendranath came to Sri Ramakrishna, he told about Narendranath to other persons. He has got 18 powers, 18 qualities. Those other people, those very famous people have few of them. He is highest among the fish, he is a large fish. Among the flower, he is a lotus flower. Everything exceeding, excellent, he was saying. Like Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, among this I am the greatest, among the unmoving objects, I am the Himalayas, I am the Sumeru, all the biggest, highest, excellent things. Sri Ramakrishna already saw in Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, young man, all great potential. He could see that. That is what anupashyanti. He could see what others could not see. And when it was told to Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, he said, what are you saying? People will say you are mad. He said, I don't say that. I was shown this by mother. Do I say just like that? Mother has revealed to me what is within you. So he knows all that. Where is the mother saying? Mother is enshrined in his heart. He is one with the mother, with the divine mother. He is one with the Brahman. And Brahman reveals to him that this boy has got so many qualities. That is what anupashyanti. All they can find the potential of a person. Girish Ghosh potential, Sri Ramakrishna says. Everywhere, all this great person can anupashyanti, that when we identify ourselves with the whole universe and whole universe with ourselves, then we also do not differentiate, do not separate anyone from us. We treat everyone equal to us. All these great persons often treated equally. When Narendranath came and Sri Ramakrishna said, take this from my hand. Narendranath said, how can I take? What are you saying? Am I and you different, separate? Narendranath was a young man just studying in this college, and Sri Ramakrishna was a high yogi, highest realized soul. And he says, I and you are not different, we are not separate. Ami ar tui ki alahida, am I and you are separate, we are all one. This seeing oneness, anupashyanti, they find oneness with all. Naturally, when this vision of unity comes, oneness comes, this all feeling of separateness, all feeling of seeing something low, that vanishes instantly, and we start seeing everyone as our own self. When we see others are our own self, then comes the respect for others. We respect ourselves because we are in reality Atman. Atman cannot be but loved, cannot be but respected. That is, it automatically comes to the Atman or the self. When we see self in others, we start respecting others. The people who can find oneness with every being, it is said, that every being can be extended not only to human beings, but to other life forms, animals, plants, and that's how this love for every living creature comes. Love, a sort of liking for everyone. When Swami Pramathananda used to go to have a walk in nature, in the winter time, the winter was going to finish, and he used to call every tree and touch, oh, don't worry, now winter is over, now good time is coming, spring is coming soon. So you feel that oneness and love, like everything is your friend, everyone is your friend. Someone, that Holy Mother's example, that someone was using her broomstick, and after the work was done, just tossed it in the corner. Holy Mother said, why are you tossing that? You could keep it with respect, to put there and put it in the corner. It is placed, but do it with respect. Everything should be respected. Everyone, when you respect others, it will respect you. That broom also gets respect. The broom that which cleans also should be treated with respect. Our Swami Shraddhananda used to say, I have heard, that everything that you have, you can show respect and gratitude and thanks to everyone. Thank to your bed sheet that you are there to sleep. Thank to your cover that it will protect you from cold. Pillow where you'll put your head and you can sleep. Thank you, pillow, for giving me support to my head. Everything seems to be very helpful to you and thankful because you are seeing closeness to that. Atman now reveals to everything. Everything is like you. So everything becomes so holy. Where is the case for anything to be hated? Nothing is of hateful then. Everything becomes like admirable and to be thanked. That is this verse very much says to that. Just the thing is to be done to have so much love for everyone and everything is, we have to realize the self. That self that is not only here in me, that self pervades everywhere. And everyone, every human being that we see is our own self in different forms. So respect other person with all etiquette, and that will be you taking more closer, adoring the other person. That's why I was talking about worshipping God. In Hinduism, everything is worshipped with reverence. Every bit of the nature is worshipped with reverence. Sun is worshipped as sun god, moon god. Everything is God in us. The stone god and river god and tree god. Everything is God because Atman is everything and Atman is Brahman. There is nothing that is not divine. So that's how everything is worshipped in that way. This verse is so beautiful example of that reverence to all, practical, that when you have that, Swami says about his own Guru, Sarvagatananda says about his own Guru, Swami Akhandananda. Swami Akhandananda was, as I told you, he was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who loved Swami Vivekananda very much. And Swami Vivekananda's philosophy of service of God in man that he had and propagated, he was the one to take up that and do service to the very poor people. He was just traveling. He found someone had no money and was crying because the only pitcher plant, that pitcher pot that she had was broken, and she had no other money to buy that even pitcher pot. Very poor villager Muslim girl, young girl. So he asked, and whatever he had, he had like 25 paise or something, 25 cents. With that he bought something, some food, and that gave. And then he didn't come back. He stayed there and started serving them. So how to serve them, calling that I will, then later on he made an orphanage to serve many people. And there is now that ashram, that center is still there. It is called Sargachi Ashram in West Bengal. So there were many orphan boys were there, and he used to treat them as God himself. He saw in all those poor orphans God. And when he used to bathe them, because there were no this tap water is to be phased and then pour on their head with some pot. And when he used to recite the mantra as it is done while doing the puja, all these Vedic rituals, Sahasra Chircha, because they were God for him. And how was his life? When he was in the room, his room was not closed. Whenever he was there, even if it was closed, that orphan boys could go without any hesitation any time of the day and say, Baba. They used to love him as father. Baba, this is the problem, this I am hungry, I have this problem. Like that they can do. They are always open. So this is the situation when one sees oneself in all and all in oneself. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanneva nupashyati sarva bhutesu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Such person cannot have hatred towards anyone. Not only hatred, he doesn't hide anyone. Not only hiding, he loves everyone. How much he loves? He loves like himself or herself. Like oneself, that person starts loving everyone. When he even sees God, perhaps he loves more than oneself. God is the life of our life. So one loves God more than one loves oneself. So that is how it is done. In the life of Buddha also it is said, when someone was taking one goat for sacrifice, Buddha said, where are you taking? We want to sacrifice and propitiate God. God will be happy. You are sacrificing this small lamb for God, to please God. Maybe God will be more pleased if you sacrifice me. Release that goat. You rather sacrifice my body in place of God, in lieu of that goat. So like that becomes one with goat. In Shankaracharya's life also. Shankaracharya's life, one person said, you are so accomplished, you are such a holy person. I was doing something in that way I had to sacrifice someone. So would you agree to be sacrificed? Asking a person, can I kill you? And Shankaracharya says, okay, you can kill me. And that, because for him there is life, there is no attachment for life. If it helps somebody, it is okay. And he had gone there, somehow his disciples knew it and he saved them from there. He had to do so much work, he had to preach Vedanta. Who will write the Bhashya of our Ishavasya Upanishad and all other Bhashya of Upanishad, Gita, Brahma Sutra, all he had to do, and he was being sacrificed. And Shankaracharya, no matter, doesn't matter at all. So you can take me. Like that, they are ready to sacrifice their life. Swami Vivekananda met a tiger really in the forest when he was traveling in India. And the tiger came, he saw a tiger in front of it, and he just sat there without any fear. And he said, okay, let the tiger eat this flesh and blood of this body and may appease its hunger. So he sat there waiting tiger to come. He opens the eye, tiger was not there. Tiger had gone. Because Swami Vivekananda had to give a lecture and spread the Vedantas. All is God's plan. Why will tiger eat such a person? But that to show that they are not afraid of anything. They are totally resigned to Brahman. For them, everything is Brahman. Tiger is also Brahman in that way. Though Sri Ramakrishna says, you should be little clever to think that tiger is also God. But you should not go and embrace the tiger God. Be practical while you are living. When you are in that situation, you have totally identified with the Brahman. That is different issue. Then you will not be harmed. Brahman has some plan for you. But in our case, when we have not experienced that unity and identity with Brahman, have read some things, heard something, and then they realize, oh, I am also Brahman and that is also Brahman, always afraid of the tiger may come and eat. One nice story I heard from Swami Tyaganandji, one joke. He said like that one person was going, he found tiger in front. He cannot run, he cannot go to the tree. Now what will he sat down and waiting tiger to come and jump. And when he opens the eyes, he sees tiger also is sitting and closing the eyes. Then the person opened the eyes, saw it must be very holy tiger, so it will not perhaps kill. And they both opened the eyes, then the tiger said to this man, I don't know what you are praying, O man, but I was doing Brahmarpanam. I was saying the grace. Like that, so there are so many things you should try to not embrace or go near that thing. So when you see the skunk, you get away from it. Skunk should not see you. So like that, skunk is also Brahman. We are also Brahman. That don't go and, oh, skunk Brahman, come here, spray something on me. They don't say that. So that is the practical thing. Even Brahmagyanis will not say that. But for Brahmagyanis, trouble don't come. Even trouble comes to Pabhari Baba, thief came, but how it becomes like the blessing for the thief, transforming thing. Like Narada met Ratnakar dacoit, and he was going to rob him. Ratnakar gave some message that changed the whole life of Ratnakar dacoit, became the first poet of the mankind that we call that Adi Kavi Valmiki, that who wrote the story of Rama. Like that thing, it happens when the things are happen that way. When one has realized God, has seen Brahman everywhere. For them, their life is meant for the good of all. But for us who have not realized, we should not go so far to embrace a tiger Brahman. Tiger Brahman is far away. One holy person Brahman comes, then we should go near him, approach him, ask him questions, listen to him of the words of wisdom, like that. So this is what is called Tatona Vijigupsate. All hatred is gone away and all hiding is gone away. Your life becomes open chapter for everyone for a realized soul. Nothing is there to hide. Nothing for them is there to do in secret. Oh, nobody is seeing, so I should do this when nobody is there. So nothing like that. Everything in their life is open. So that is what the Vijigupsate, that Swami Premashanandji says, that word should translate in that way, that Vijigupsate is not that hate, but they do not hide. Gopaner ichha thake na, he says. And so there is no desire to keep it secret. So that is what the thing. And Holy Mother was also like that. She was also always available for the people. Sometime some people, beggar came in the afternoon and they were having meeting and they said, no, you don't come this time. This is not the time to beg. Don't disturb us. But Holy Mother heard that someone was begging. He came down and say, give him the thing. Beggar will not come by seeing your watch. And they have a time to beg from 5 to 6 or from 11 to 12, not at 4. When they are hungry, they will come. Give them the thing. Always helpful, always finding, always knowing the difficulty of others. If you see Shankaracharya's explanation, Bhasyas, you'll find so many things Shankaracharya writes. How could he understand the attitude and feeling of ignorant people? It's very surprising, because always he was a person of all knowledge and Brahmagyani. But they all understand how an ignorant feels. They reach that state. For them, the difficulty of even a small person is very much evident. If you read Ramakrishna Kathamrita or Swami Vivekananda, they all know our problems very well, and they try to remove that. So that thing is there because they see no difference between oneself and others, and they become a help for others. That is what na vijigupsate means. Not only they do not help, but they help. Not only they do not hate, they help. Not only help, they become one with you. They feel for you. That feeling of oneness, that real empathy comes from the realization of yourself, oneness of realization of yourself with all. So that's what it is said. Holy Mother used to do that. And Holy Mother also, how she changed the life of a dacoit. She was traveling alone in the evening, and the dacoit came, and she said, Father, you have come suddenly. I was very scared. So what will happen to me? But you have come now, I have no fear. So like that she said to a dacoit. And by saying that, she made the dacoit feel for the daughter. Dacoits all desired to rob some person, went away, and immediately transformed him to like a father. And he started helping and caring Holy Mother. He gave her company whole that evening, took him to nearest inn and made her sleep inside. He took guard outside, and all it was done because Holy Mother saw and felt that this person is Brahman, oneness with that person, not seeing any defect or robber in that, but seeing a helping father in that. And that feeling was so strong that person also felt, I need to protect this. She is my daughter. Not only that, she said, I'm going to meet your son-in-law. Immediately relationship came. Immediately, I am a daughter traveling to Dakshineswar to meet your son-in-law. Dacoit, very ruffian looking, and son-in-law of that dacoit. And Holy Mother said, please come, visit Dakshineswar. All the relations built up in that one evening. And that dacoit went to Dakshineswar, met Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna treated him very well. In that place where Holy Mother had made that dacoit in West Bengal, near Calcutta. Telo Bhelo is the name of that field. There stands now a temple of Mother Kali is there, and the temple of Holy Mother also is there. So that is how this transformation can happen when one sees another as same being. That's how the love comes. Otherwise, how you think that Buddha could love and go to that great Angulimala. Angulimala was a very robber who used to kill everyone and collect the fingers, cut the fingers after killing. So much he is cruel to the ultimate extent. Even the kings could not control that. He was very strong and was to hide in the forest. So even the army of the king could not do. He was creating trouble in villages, killing, plundering villages and all that. So Buddha heard from king. And Buddha said, I will try to do. One evening, Buddha himself went there. And seeing a man, whenever anybody saw this Angulimal, he saw everybody flee away from him. That was his nature. Here he says someone is coming towards him. He was very surprised. What is this person, mad or what? I always kill the person whenever I see and take their fingers. And Buddha was coming. Angulimal said, who are you? He said, stop there. And said, I have stopped, now you have to stop, said Buddha. What prompted Buddha to go to Angulimal? Then after meeting Buddha, Angulimal's life transforms. He becomes a monk, he becomes a sadhaka, he becomes a spiritual practitioner. Like that, whole life is transformed of that ruffian, that cruel person. So what makes Buddha approach this Angulimal? The same seeing oneself in other, that realization of Brahman, compassion, love for one who is living a treacherous life. When one realizes the self, there can be nothing but love for everyone. Sri Ramakrishna's love for Girish Ghosh, Buddha's love for Angulimal, all those are the examples. Narada's love for Ratnakara. This is love. Narada could have said, give me something or tied me or give up whatever he has and gone his own way. He said, no, you are committing sin. No, nobody will be absolving your sin. And then after that he gave him the mantra and he said, repeat this. He saw that potential. All these great person who have identified with others, the self in others, they see the potential greatness in others. Angulimal could see that potential monk in that person. Narada could see the potential poet in that person, and Sri Ramakrishna could see the potential holy man or the saintly life in that Girish Ghosh. And that's how this identifying oneself with others, it not only takes away hatred, but it makes you one with that. So that is the great practical thing that can happen by realizing the Brahman, by finding and experiencing the unity with others. Let us go to another verse which also explains the same thought more nicely, this Ishopanishad. These two verses of the Ishopanishad are the practical description of the realization of Brahman. How that Brahman realized soul can live in this world, that knows himself that everything is Brahman, everything that fleeting and changing has no real fleeting and changing. In reality it is all Brahman. It seems like it is changing, but that is for his or her own perception, own experience. But what about how he deals with the world? Then it is said, the verse 7, Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhudvijanata tatra ko mohaka shoka ekattam anupashyatah. Now this person sees oneness with everything. No difference between himself and the whole universe. Unified with the universe. So that person's vision, perception, understanding has changed for seeing oneself contained only in this body, identifying only in this body. He starts or she starts identifying with the whole community, whole human beings, whole life. And when one is in that state, what sorrow, what delusion is there for the wise man who sees intimately the unity of existence and knows all beings to be his own self, sees all beings in himself and every being in himself and himself in every being. For that, how can there be any shoka or moha? Moha is delusion, shoka is sorrow. So all sorrow is gone by this realization of oneness with all. That is the perception of Brahman, realization of Brahman. When one realizes Brahman, one doesn't only transcend this experience, but finds oneness with this Pratyaksha Brahma. This created world is called Pratyaksha Brahma, that perceptible Brahman. The same Brahman that is transcendental, that same Brahman is perceptible. And I am one with that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, that I am one with that transcendental Brahma. It doesn't end there. I am one with all this. That's why this unity, oneness is perceived. Swami Vivekananda was very fond of this two descriptions of the realization of God. unity of existence, oneness of existence and divinity of soul. Finds soul to be divine, not material. Divine means it is immortal, unborn, without touch of any blemish. It is ever blissful. That is divine, and that is our reality. And that reality is one with whole universe. These two things of Advaita Vedanta, oneness of existence and divinity of Brahman. Swami Vivekananda always said that. So this person who have realized oneness, they do not have any shoka. They go beyond suffering. Upanishad says, Tarati shokam atmavid. What happens by realizing the Atman, realizing your true self? They go beyond all suffering. We suffer. Buddha said there is suffering. There is existential suffering. When you are born as a human being, very birth as a human being creates suffering. One suffering is that this is ever changing. Then there are old age, death, disease, all of the body. There is suffering of the mental changes, mind changing, and there comes the dislike and like, attachment and aversion. All these are created when we are born as a human being. So suffering is true, he says, Buddha said. Suffering is real. There is, when we are born as a human being, suffering is there. Then he said that's another very great truth, that there is end to suffering. One can remove the suffering from one's life. Will not one become old and die? All will become old and die. If they live long, they will become old. Otherwise, everyone will die. Then where is the suffering gone? But Buddha said there is a way out of suffering. That you suffer because you become old, disease and die, that will not happen. This old, disease and death for body will happen, but your suffering will be removed. There is a way out of suffering. And he said, then he said there is a way out of suffering. How can we get rid of this suffering? That doesn't make us, in some lore it is there, they are chiranjeevi. Always they remain in the body, like they say of Hanuman or Asatthama or something, that they never die. They are in the same body, always there. It is not going to happen to us. Whatever was happened to 12 persons, chiranjeevi, it happened 10 or 12. It will not happen to us. We will die. So, but suffering will not be there. Why suffering will not be there? There will dawn knowledge that this body will die. Then and the knowledge further, I am not the body. What a relief. Body will become old, it will have disease, it will have suffer, but I am not this body, I am not suffering with the body. That Swami Shivananda ji used to say, Sri Ramakrishna also used to say, that they asked him, how are you? He said, Shivananda ji, he said, I am fine. But I saw his suffering, he was gasping for breath, he had asthma. So, yes, you are asking of body, a body is suffering. But I am fine. That body and I are separate. I am not the body, I am Atman, which cannot be touched by anything. That knowledge dawns. So body suffering doesn't matter, he can make aloof himself or herself from the body. Such type of idea can come to shok, tarati shokam atmavid. Just know and you are free from the suffering, existential suffering. What Buddha said? Buddha said, practice these 8 things in your life. Practice wholesome concentration, wholesome livelihood, wholesome speech, wholesome living, like the wholesome thought. Then you will have removed, that is realize the spiritual nature. Spiritual nature in Buddhism, more than emphasizing on the Brahman or Atman, they do not say about the Atman, that is the entity or being which is beyond all this. They just say, realize this life is very temporary. It is all changing. What is there yesterday is not tomorrow. So realize that and you are free from suffering. And Vedanta says there is something very positive, blissful, unchanging. There is infinite bliss is there. Realize that to be your true self and don't identify with this changing mortal body, which is just a part of nature. It just seems. And still Advaita Vedanta will say, it just seems that that divine is there. Divine seems to have assumed this form, assumed this matter, assumed this universe. All this seems to have been assumed by the divine. The divine is all, in reality, is all that blissful divinity. Try to understand this, and then you go across over this, this shokam. All this shoka will go away. This all suffering will go away. So Vedanta saying that we can realize this self or the Atman in this life here. So Swami says one very nice example from his life, that he was a chaplain of Harvard and MIT, Swami Sarvagatananji. So some problem came with the students of Harvard and MIT, and the authority there, they thought that Swami should be taken into confidence to resolve this problem. So they will not invite some psychologist. So, sorry. So that you know the story. So then psychologist heard this and says, why are you asking holy men to come to solve this problem? The holy men, they just give some assurance, and they are the soul savers. They do not mitigate the problems of our life. They will come and they are responsible to give you techniques how to go to heaven after death. Only they should know that. So another person was there in that meeting. He said, no, this Swami is not like that. He is concerned with the life and the people here also. And he will say some solution for here. He's not only for going to heaven. So that's why authorities called him. And he said that he does it for here and now. The problem is here. It will not be solved after death. You do the things here, and after that all problem is solved when you go to heaven. It is not like that. We have to solve the problem here and now. That's how we go beyond all suffering here and now. Ihaiva tairjita sargo esham samme sthitam mana, says in the Gita. Ihaiva, here itself, now itself, ihaiva, here itself, one goes beyond all suffering. Tairjita sargo, this sargo is this this life of this change can be overcome. Tairjita sargo, how? Esham samme sthitam mana. Equanimity. So much in the Gita you will always find equanimity. Samya. Samya is equanimity. Swami Bhuteswaranand used to say, Samya is the word of scripture and the very Vedanta. We love Samya. But we don't want Samyavada. Samyavada is communism in Bengali. Samya we live and love, but we don't like Samyavada, communism. We want all to be equal. We treat all to be equal, but we don't want forced equality. We don't want the one who has reason to pull it down and make it equal to others. Rather, push up others and make equal to those who have reason. So that samya is that. Esham samya sthitam mana. Mind is settled in equanimity. So this is what, when we are settled in equanimity, with tarati shokam, we go beyond all shoka. Tatra ko shoka. Where is there shoka for that? Where is suffering for the one who has realized oneness with all? And where is moha? Moha is another thing. Moha comes from, shoka comes from you get some ill treatment, you don't like that person or something, some situation, and that makes you suffering. That is a miserable situation for you. And there is moha. Moha is a delusion, infatuation. Something attracts you, that is moha. Something that has no real joy seems to be giving joy. And that also comes because you see the difference. You see getting that, Swamiji explained very nicely in the morning about those, how this can change our life. So moha is the thing that makes our life in ignorance seem that if I get that, if I have that, if that situation changes, then it will be all beautiful, all nice. But for a man of realization, nothing of that delusion, that is a delusion. That moha is delusion. How that delusion be there, that will change life? In fact, that person who has realized oneness with all is always in that bliss, in that content. He doesn't seek anything to be joyful other than Brahman, other than God, other than this realization. He has found God. He has found the ultimate. What will he seek more than that? So one person came to, was very poor Brahmin. So his wife said that Brahmin has some nice philosopher's stone. So can you ask that to bring that one day, then we will convert all our iron into gold and will become rich. So why will that saint give? So he went there to ask the saint, can you give me that philosopher? But wife said, go, we will die, we have no money. So hesitatingly this man came and asked, can you give me for one night, one day, I will return you tomorrow. So that, what? You ask, that philosopher's stone? Oh, it is lying there, take it away. So he was so surprised how easily he gave that valuable thing. Whichever iron it touches, it changes into gold. So he took that and was going. Suddenly he thought, that Brahmin thought, that saint so easily gave me this thing. That means he didn't keep it secretly, quietly, valuable thing. That means he has found something more valuable. Why will I ask for that? Let me go and ask for that thing, that valuable thing that he has got, which makes this philosopher's stone less valuable, insignificant. He came back and said, give me that, what you have found. And that was the knowledge of Brahman. That is the vision of God. I want that. This material thing is no thing of joy. Can you give me that? He became his disciple. So these people are happy with whatever they have. They want nothing. So there is no delusion for them. They have overcome all delusion. They never meet any suffering. So that is what the realized person, their effect in this world, how they live in the world. In Viveka Chudamani very nicely said, how this realized person live in the world? Oh, they live very incognito. You cannot see that, because Holy Mother said, no, if you have realized God, will you have two horns growing on your head? You are like a human being like that. But your inner stuff has changed, your attitude has changed, your feeling has changed, your prayers have changed, your love has enormously increased. That is the realized person. So in Viveka Chudamani, they say realized person will move in this world. In this world, there are many realized persons. Someone came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, you are such a great holy person. There is no one like you in whole of India. He said, why are you saying that? How much you know of India? There are great persons, there are great saints, many places. There is not unique. They find oneness with everyone. They have no jealousy with anyone. The great person is that. They have overcome all jealousy, all hatred, and only love is there. So Sri Ramakrishna refused that person. There are persons, holy persons, many holy persons in this world. So where is realized person? We don't see. So they say you won't realize that. They live like a child or like a mad person. Balavadvapi unmattavapi charati avanyam. They like a mad person, crazy person, they move around in the world. You don't understand them, but their inner is filled with love and bliss. That is what is the thing. But by seeing, how will we know? One person came to Dakshineswar, very mad person like that, and he was just having mango plant, the sapling in one hand and some food in one hand and coming. Sri Ramakrishna saw, everybody thought he is a mad person, nothing doing, ate something from the leftover food that was thrown, plates were thrown outside, and from that garbage he picked some and ate, nobody gave him. Sri Ramakrishna saw, he is a realized person, Jnani. And he said to Hridaya, he is Jnani. So Hridaya went to him and said, are you a Jnani? Then he said, shh, yes, but don't say that. Because he was really a Jnani. Then Hridaya was going behind him and said, what is the sign of a Jnani? How were you a Jnani? How can I also become a Jnani? Because he was living with Sri Ramakrishna, very worldly person, but was living with Sri Ramakrishna, some inspiration was there. He also wanted to realize God, wanted to have that bliss. And he said, the teaching he gave, he said, you see the drain, you see the Ganga. When you can find the water of drain and water of Ganga same, then you have realized, then you have become Jnani. How can one treat water of drain? Drain is flowing and Ganga is flowing. It is about the sight that you see, vision. You just eliminate mentally all the garbage in the drain. Only see the water. As water it is pure like any water. Only it has got mixed with something. If you can mentally remove, just see water, that is like Ganga water. Only Ganga water was flowing through that drain. And there is that Ganga water, all pure, all with purifying power. When you see that equanimity in the drain water and Ganga water. As water you have to say, you cannot be equal. Sri Ramakrishna says, in practical life, you cannot treat all water equally. There is water to drink, water to wash, and water to clean vessels. So there are different kinds of water. All water is called Narayana, Apo Narayana. In Hinduism, water is respected like all water is God. It is manifestation of God. Brahmavari, like Brahman itself has become water. And then we call Ganga, it's called Brahmavari. But that is for the practical purpose. But are you able to see pure water in this drain? You have to have that much vision, insight. Only that equanimity will come with that. You said equanimity, but not to use that, but to understand that way. Like that space is not tainted by any foul smell. The space remains same, pure, untainted, even by the good smell of an incense stick or foul smell of a rotten thing. But that is to be understood. The space is untaintable. So like that, it also says when you can find that equanimity, that is jnana. That will take you beyond all suffering. He was still following that Jnani person to learn more. Jnani person picked some stone and started throwing to him. He didn't want any disciple to be near him. Just he was happy in himself. Atmani eva atmana tusta. Happy with himself that Jnani was. But others could not recognize. Sri Ramakrishna could recognize. We cannot recognize any person. Any mad person we approach, are you a Jnani, Brahma Jnani? Then he will give you something and you will feel sad for that. So not every mad person is a Brahma Jnani. Brahma Jnani may move like a crazy person so that others don't disturb, but every crazy person is not a Brahma Jnani. So let's go to the next verse. Saparyagat shukrama kayama branam asnaviram shuddham apapa vidham kavir manishi paribhu swayambhu yatha tatyorthan vyadadhat saswatibhya samabhya. Beautiful sloka, again now describing the Brahman. After saying what happens by realizing the oneness with Brahman, oneness with whole creation, oneness with all humanity, you feel one, you are one, and all is in you, everything is in you, and you are in everyone. So after realizing that, he describes again about the Brahman, how it is, the realized person or Atman, how is our soul. Saparyagat, it is all pervasive. Our soul, our real nature is all pervasive. Nothing is there that is not there, that is there. It is all pervasive. And Shukram, it is not something dark matter that goes. It is Shukram, bright, enlightened Shukram. Then it says Akayam. It has no body. Kaya is body. There is no body, there is no material in it. Body is made up of matter. It is without matter, it is a spiritual entity. There is no material thing in it. It is not made of atoms and molecules. It is nothing of that. So it is akayam, it is without any physical body. Abranam, it says without wound. When one has body, there is wound. So in soul or Atman, how can it, if it is not body, how can there be wound? It is explaining that there is no inner thing, wound, muscle-like thing. Akayam, there is no sthula sarira, akayam abranam, and asnaviram. Asnaviram, snayu is not there. Snayu is sinews or nerves are not there. So no body and bodily parts are there in the spirit or in the soul or the Atman. Atman is so different from what we perceive ourselves. And we are, what we perceive ourselves as this body we identify, we are not that. This is Anatma, and we are the Atma, which is always bright, resplendent, and without any material thing to create it. It is spiritual in nature. It is akayam, abranam, asnaviram. Shuddham apapa vidham. It is pure. It is made up of not mixture of anything. It is pure as it should be. Apapa vidham. It is not contaminated with any any impurity. It is without any sin. It cannot be contaminated with any impurity. That is the power of this spirit, that our nature, our true nature. It cannot be contaminated with any sin. Then it is Kavi, it is all-knowing. It can understand the thing which even the mind cannot understand, Kavi, it can see. In Hindi there is a saying, Jahan na pahuche Ravi, tahan pahuche Kavi. Where sunlight cannot go, light cannot go, there poet can go. Poet can think deeper than ordinary person. They can find the meaning in the thing which other person don't see. We see only surface. The poets go deeper and find. Not only they realize the deeper significance of the thing, but they can express also in that way. Poet is, that's why it is great. And the soul is that poet. It can understand deeper and also can express it beautifully. And Kabir Manishi Paribhu. Paribhu is embracing all. It embraces all. Nothing is left other by it. It encompasses all. Paribhu. Swayambhu. It is self-created. Who created soul? Soul. God did not create human soul. Soul is self-created. Because soul is, according to Advaita Vedanta, soul is God Himself. That what we call God outside resides in our heart as the soul. The Sri Krishna says, Aham Atma Guda Kesha Sarva Bhuta Saya Sthita. I reside in the heart of every being as their Atma, as their soul. I am that. There is no distinction. Their Atma and me are same. I myself reside as their soul. I myself am their soul. So it is Swayambhu. It is self-created. It is never created. That's why it doesn't die. Yatha tatyorthan vedadhat shasvatibha samabhya. And it gives its right position, keeps thing in the right position. This creation of this universe has been done rightly as it should be done, it says. So things are kept in the right position, it says. Swami Vivekananda once said that this world has been created. Many say, world is so difficult, why there is so much injustice and cruelty in this world. So that many people complain to God, God being perfect, how this world become imperfect? If God has created this world, it should be all perfect. So that is how the world's idea of the world creation and God is their relationship. Many people find it difficult to create perfect God created this imperfect world. So many say, if I was there to advise God, I would have told him how to create the perfect world. God didn't know. So that was what he's saying. So like that there, but Swami Vivekananda once was almost tormented by this dealing of the world. He had become very poor, had no food, could not get a job. He was being one of the very highly educated person of that time, very talented, there is no doubt, supremely talented person, was not getting simple job to help his family. When tired, he came going to many places. The friends, they just closed that door in front of him. They didn't like him to talk because now situation has changed. This friendship and all that are so much related to our situation. Shankaracharya says very beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita, Yavat vitto parjana shaktam tavan nija parivaro rakta. The family and friends all are glued to you, tied to you, all love, affection, oh you are so good, all comes Yavat vitto parjana shakta. Till you earn some money, till you can help them, till you provide them, they are all glued to you. If that is gone, that you have of no value. Swami Vivekananda also, because he became poor, those friends who used to always call him in the programs, they also didn't care of him. And Swamiji sat tired. Suddenly he said, something flashed to him. World as it is perfect, as the world should be. Yatha tatya. The world should be like this, imperfect, with injustice, there is so many defects. World is that, filled with all good and bad together. Sri Ramakrishna had told many times, in the world there are good persons and also evil persons. There are good plants, yielding nectar-like fruits. There are also poisonous yielding fruits are there. There are nice animals like cow and bunnies, nice deer. And there are also tigers and hyenas are there. So world is a mixture of all good and bad. If that is not there, then how it will be world? If all is good, no injustice, like that Nachiketa says to Yama that natatratvam najaraya vibeti, there is no hunger and thirst in the heaven, and there is no injustice. You are not there, death is not there, and there is no old age for the person. The fear of old age is not there because there is no old age in the heaven. So it is all is the thought about the heaven, that there is no old age, no death, no hunger, no thirst, no injustice, no friction. It is all so nice, everyone is friendly. It is a concept of heaven, that is not the earth. This world has all this, that's why it is a world. With all these contradictory things, with all that, and that's the gymnasium we have. When we see all these opposites, can we see the oneness, that beauty of oneness, that charm of divinity that passes through all good and bad people? As Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sutre Manigana Iva. I am like the thread that passes through all the beads. I am the thread. Whatever you see in the world, passing through all that is that divinity. Can you perceive that divinity? If you can perceive that divinity, you have found the thing for which you are born. You are born here to practice, to make your muscles strong, to use your intellect and find that hiding reality. God says that don't hide, na bijigupsate, but God is such, He created the world and He is hiding. But He is hiding equally in all. That is wonderful play of God, hide and seek. So once when God created this world, and then He wanted immanent God, and He said, I have to be in the world, but I don't want people to find me. If they find that there will be no work, no activity going on, no creativity, no ego, so I want them to play a lot, thinking that they are the doer and they are the enjoyer. So, but where to hide? So he asked angels, sir, where should I hide? They say, you can go at the bottom of a Pacific Ocean, you have created that. It is very deep, 7 kilometers deep, so they will not be able to find you. So he said, no, I have given so much brain to human beings, they will find that also. So then someone said, go and top at the Mount Everest, sit there. They will not, they are so clever, I have given them strength and wisdom. They will scale the Mount Everest also. You see now Mount Everest, there are so many people going. There is all garbage and rust there. Traffic jam in Mount Everest, have you heard that? People are going so much there is limited time going, but there is so many people going. If you do late, there will be no place to walk also. So like that, people will find that. Then God thought, and He then came and hid in a place where people will not search. And really God is hiding there. And they say, where is that place? God is hiding in this world and we are not finding Him because we are not searching there. That is in our heart. We see all outside, we worship outside, but we don't search inside. And there is God residing inside us, inside everyone. And that's why we are not able to find. Kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamiksan avritta chakshu amritatvamichan. There are some people very clever. They say, God is not found. I tried seeing Him everywhere in the temples, in the churches, but I cannot find really that thing. Where is He hiding? Then he said, I was searching in a wrong direction. The direction was wrong. Let me change the direction of my vision. Avritta chakshu, it turned the eye inwards, and there the God is writing. Because they wanted to see that immortal, blissful self, and they find God residing in the heart. Once God is found in one's own heart, suddenly that lamp seen lighting, suddenly you look out and that lamp is lighting in the hearts of everyone. Everyone, there is all this lamp, bright lamp of divinity, all shining in the heart of all. That is what the Brahman is. And that Brahman is, that's why Shukram, all bright is that light. So all pervasive, it says. Let me read something. So let me read from the last another just you can see the meaning of this words beautiful about the all-pervasive nature or different nature of the Brahman. So yatha tatyorthan vyadadhat saswatibhya samabhya. That is expressed as God has placed everything in the right place, that is said. So Swami Sarvagatanji has his own explanation for that. Beautiful. This line is usually interpreted in terms of cosmic orders. Everything, the planets, the solar system, all is placed by that creator in its right place, with right forces doing all their work. But Swamiji says that what is its implication in individual level? But there is another meaning which is more relevant to us. The meaning is that all things are assigned their proper place. The previous verses said that an illumined soul sees the spirit pervading all existence. This same sightedness does not, however, mean that he does not see the limitations. He sees everything as it is, as opposed to our view, which is always conditioned by our mental limitations. Sri Ramakrishna always saw both the potentials and limitations of those who came to see him. He minimized the limitations and encouraged the potentials. For example, he would often praise Girish Ghosh's unselfishness and depth of devotion. This limitation of potential, that what he says. That one side is that one sees becomes same-sighted, sees Brahman as all, sees oneself in all. Does he not see anything else? His vision of all difference, all the reality is all blurred. So Swamiji tries to say, no, they see both. Otherwise, why Holy Mother compared Amjad the dacoit with Saradananda the Brahmagyani? Why he says, both are my children. I love them both equally. Why she had to give these two examples of two opposite poles of human beings? One is ignorant and lives for some dacoit, but loves Holy Mother. And another is Brahmagyani, devoid of his own personal ego. That how these two are said to be Holy Mother? Same. Both are my children. I love them both equally. She loves them both equally. There is no distinction in her love. That means she finds the difference between these two persons. One is that limitation. The limitation in Amjad for revealing his own true nature. In Saradananda, that limitation has crossed. His potential has manifested as Brahmagyana. But that doesn't make her relation to this separate. Sri Ramakrishna also could see that the difference. That's why he said about Mahut Narayana and Hati Narayana. One person was going and the teacher told that everything is God. So when he was walking, he saw one, he had gone to village to ask him to have some alms, because the teacher said everything is God. Nothing is there that is not God. So, and he saw one person was just running and shouting came, go away from the road, mad elephant coming, go away, go away. He said, mad elephant coming, and that is that one who controls the elephant is called Mahut. That Mahut is also, when Mahut is shouting, that mad elephant has gone berserk, please go from the road and save yourself. But this brahmachari said, just my guru told that everything is God, then elephant is God, why should I go? Elephant is God, so divine is everywhere. He stood there and elephant came. It was a crazy elephant. He tossed with the trunk, he picked up that man and tossed it on the ground. He fell down and became unconscious. After some time, then anything happened. Some disciples came, got the news, and took him home, took him to the ashram. And teacher said, they said that Mahut was saying, go away. Why didn't you go away? No, you said that everyone is God, there is nothing that is not divine. And elephant was coming, I thought that is divine. So why should I go? When God is coming, what is their fear for me? So I just remained there because it was God, though in the form of mad elephant that was there. Oh, God is divine, no doubt. But what about that Mahut who was controlling, who was riding the elephant? Is he not God? I said everyone is God. And you just came close to that mad elephant as God. But why didn't you listen to Mahut the God? Mahut also is God. You should listen to Mahut God. You should listen to the wise advice of the people. Understand the situation. Although basically all are equal, But outwardly there is differences there. When we are in this world, created world, outward difference is there. Inwardly there is no difference. It's the same Atman, same self as myself is in all. But outward difference you have to maintain when you are under the domain of this Shakti, of this Mahamaya, of this created world. You cannot make all at that one Samarasa. But in reality, we are all one. But little difference you have to understand. That is what Swamiji is saying about the difference, limitation of the human expression of that realization. The same-sightedness of an illumined soul is not a foolish optimism, you see beautifully writes, that obscures the facts of an intense experience, that makes the facts clearer and places them in the right context. As Sri Ramakrishna himself said, the reservoir, the sea and the gutter all contain water, but only one kind is fit for drinking, another only for washing, and the third cannot even be touched. He saw the unity, but was aware of the distinction also. We see this in the punctiliousness of his daily habits. All his personal articles had their specified place, to which they were promptly returned after use. Once a group of devotees was returning to Sri Ramakrishna from Calcutta to Dakshineswar, with Sri Ramakrishna from Calcutta to Dakshineswar. One of them forgot to bring back a towel. Sri Ramakrishna told him, "In the name of God, I lose the consciousness even of my very wearing cloth. But never on a single occasion have I left my small bag or a towel behind at Calcutta. And you, doing only this little japa, are so forgetful?" He was very particular about this point. If he had given his word to do something or to go somewhere, he didn't have peace of mind till he was done. In all matters of daily life, he was very alert. He said, "Man should possess dignity and alertness. Only he whose spiritual consciousness is awakened possesses this dignity and alertness and can be called as man." In Bengali, they used to call Manus. Man is called Manus. And you say Manus means manhus. You are aware of your dignity and you are aware and alert of your dignity. That's what, when you are alert of your dignity, then you are called Manus or man. So as a man we should be, as they say, mindfulness in Buddhist tradition. Sri Ramakrishna Vedanta says alertness. Don't be forgetful in the world. When you relate in the world to Holy Mother, whom he taught of Brahmajnana and all that, he said how to get into the boat. I should be first to get into the boat, last to come out. When you come out, just see around and see the thing is done. Like that, how to behave with the people, what should be. He told all these minor things. Brahmajnani from that state always used to remain in the awareness of Brahman. Told this very practical thing to Holy Mother Sarada Devi. So that is what the balanced nature of this Brahmajnani. Brahmajnanis are all mostly like that. Especially in Sri Ramakrishna's life, we see balance of this awareness of Brahman and at the same time how to live in this world. Buddha also spoke of the importance of alert mindfulness. This last line of verse 8 means that an illumined soul behaves properly and treats everyone properly, not being blinded by the idea that all are Brahman. One good example of this is Sri Ramakrishna's treatment of Holy Mother. Even in the heights of his samadhi, he never ignored Mother. He treated Mother with respect, with love, and with reverence. He himself instructed her in all matters, from conduct to meditation. An illumined soul sees all as they are and conducts himself accordingly. His only concern is to help them, to illumine their minds, to lift their consciousness from the lowest to the highest. An attitude of equanimity does not mean treating everyone alike. No, everyone is an individual. Sri Ramakrishna used to instruct each according to his capacity. The Bhagavad Gita says, Yoga karmashu kaushalam. We have to learn with dexterity and skillfulness, we have to work in the world. What is that treating alike? Would Holy Mother treat alike? Once there were some clothes to be distributed among the monks. And he said, oh, this is the best cloth, give that to Swami Brahmananda. Others asked, why Swami Brahmananda would get the best cloth? He is the son. So he was treated differently because he was president of the order. He was such a high person. So nobody had any jealousy. All were Brahmagyani. No other Guru Bhais were jealousy that Brahmananda was treated that way. They respected Brahmananda like Sri Ramakrishna. All Guru Bhais respected Swami Vivekananda like their Guru. That was the impact of Brahmagyana in the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. All were extraordinarily wise person. Always so humble, without any jealousy, without any competition. And Holy Mother may do that little difference when we see enacted in the world. But that's how we cannot treat everyone equally. When someone ruffian comes, we have to say him. Sri Ramakrishna says that when some ruffian drunkard comes to the place, don't treat him, neglect him or treat him ill, otherwise he may harm you. Rather be kind and be very normal to him. Say, uncle, how are you? Like that, just be quiet so that he doesn't harm you. Treat him that way. He himself treated Girish Ghosh so wonderfully, knowing that Girish Ghosh has to be transformed that way. So, though God is present in all equally, all are my own soul, but when we deal in the world, there is little difference in our activity or our attitude, not in the attitude, but attitude always that is the divine, that is my own self, all is there. But his mind, action of the mind and activity are little different, which if possible it could be corrected and made good. And through prayer, through what can we do other than prayer? And then we pray to God, to Holy Mother, can you make that person good that way? But that person is also in reality my own self. This verse tries to say that everything in the universe, this Brahman, is bright, all pervading, all encompassing, and all knowing. That Brahman is our real self. We are in that way one with that infinite, all blissful Brahman. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishnar Panamastu.